Parshat Vayishlach. We begin this week with the preparations by Yaakov, by Jacob, for his encounter with his brother. Now what happens is he sends angels to Esau to try and appease him, and the angels return and they say to him, "We've been there, and behold, he is coming towards you with 400 men." And straight away the Torah tells us, Vayira Yaakov ma'od vayeter lo. Yaakov was very frightened and it distressed him. What is the meaning of that he was frightened and it distressed him? Short of the war that he was about to encounter, but there's this double expression of he was frightened and it distressed him. Now rabbis tell us that there were two things here, and they alluded to two fears that he had, and the key is in the words. He was worried that because of the fact that he hadn't been to visit his parents for so long, 20 years, that he lacked in the mitzvah of kibbud av va'em, in honoring your father and mother. And the Torah actually tells us in the command of honoring one's father and mother, it says, this is in Vayikra, Ish imay va'aviv tiro, that a man should fear his father and his mother. And Vayira, the fear, is the same word as tiro, it's exactly the same word. And so Yaakov was alluding to the fact he was concerned that because of the fact that he didn't fulfill this mitzvah, he might not succeed against Esau. That was what he was frightened about. The second part that distressed him, he was concerned about the aspect of marrying two sisters. He was worried that maybe he had made a mistake. And again, the key is in the wording. In the command in the Torah later on in Vayikra, when the Torah says that one is not allowed to marry two sisters, there it says, the wording that the Torah used, that is that a man should not take two sisters litzroir, so that one should be more favorable. And in fact, the wording that Yaakov uses here is vayetzer lo, that he was distressed. And the concern is that if you take two sisters, one will, besides for the health aspects, but there's also a distress, and therefore Yaakov was concerned that maybe this was what was going to cause him not to win the battle. He didn't have enough merit. And so what does he do? He separates them to shtei machanois, to two camps. He separates them to two camps because he says, look, if this is the case, then Leah with her children will be in one camp, Rachel and her children will be in another camp, and ultimately Rachel, who was married second, that's not her fault because it's Yaakov's fault, so to speak, and therefore our rabbis say that what he was concerned about, the double expression of being frightened and being distressed, was an allusion to the two concerns he had about things that had happened that were circumstantial, but he was worried that he was to blame and therefore wouldn't succeed against Esau. He then offers up a prayer to Hashem. There's three things that he does to prepare for battle. He sends gifts, he prepares a military strategy, and also he davens to Hashem. And as part of the prayer to Hashem, he turns round to Hashem and he says, Katointi, I have been diminished. Mikala chasadim and mikala emes, from all the kindness and all the truths, asher asisa es avdecha, which you have done to your servant. What does it mean, Katointi, I have been diminished? Well, many approaches to this. One that I would like to share with you today is the following. He's saying to Hashem, look, I have been diminished. Why? In the past, Mikala chasadim and mikala emes, from all the kindness and all the truth, asher asisa savdecha, which you yourself have done with me. Remember when he left originally to go to Lavan, Hashem appears to him and says, Ushmarticha b'chol asher telech, I will guard you in everything, that wherever you go. This was a promise by Hashem to directly protect and look after Yaakov. And Yaakov says over here, Kiva makli, because with my stick, myself, my own, I didn't have any protection of Artis Ayarden. I went over the Jordan and you looked after me. But then suddenly now what has happened is that at the end of last week's portion we are told, Vayifku boy malachei Elokim, the angels of Hashem approached him, and we are told that they were sent to Yaakov to protect him. And therefore he says to Hashem, look, I've been diminished. In the past, you yourself looked after me. Now you're sending angels. And what he was davening to Hashem for was saying, please, you yourself, as you promised in the past, looked after me in the past, look after me in the future as well, directly, and not just through angels. And that's what he was saying. We then move on, and during the middle of the night, he takes his wives and his children, he goes over the Jordan, he's left some things behind, and so he goes back to collect them, and we are told, Vayivasa Yaakov levada, Yaakov remained on his own. Vayovek ish imoy, and a man struggled with him. What is this referring to? Why does the Torah need to tell us about this? I've said in the past a number of times, the Torah is not a storybook. If it tells us about a struggle with a man, it's for a reason. Now, rabbis tell us that this is a reference to the struggle throughout Jewish history between good and evil. Yaakov resembled the good. This man was an angel of Esau, which resembled evil. And therefore he was struggling with him, which is a lesson to us. And the Talmud tells us there are two opinions as to who this man was. One opinion is that he was an idol worshipper, and another, he appeared as an idol worshipper. He was an angel, but he appeared in the human form as an idol worshipper. And another says that he appeared as a Talmud Chacham, a learned man. And the reason for the difference of opinion is because we actually have two evil inclinations, or rather our evil inclination expresses itself in two different ways. Sometimes it will appear to us as a idol worshipper, saying to us, look, you should do bad, makes no bones about it. I'm telling you, you should do bad. I want you to do bad, even though you know it's bad. It tries to persuade us to do an avera, to sin. There's other times when the evil inclination appears to us as a Talmud Chacham, a very learned person, smart, trying to say, look, what you're doing, it's not really bad, it's okay, it's for the sake of a mitzvah, it's for the sake of a good deed, you're going to make money to help other people, and therefore if you're not totally ethical, it's not the end of the world, the good outweighs the bad. And therefore, what the Talmud and our rabbis are telling us is that we have both of these, and this eternal struggle that is represented here between the good and evil, Yaakov and this angel of Esau representing evil, is something that continues within us to this day, and something that we need to struggle with. And hopefully, as with Yaakov, we overcome the bad, the angel of bad, and are able to succeed and come out victorious. But it is a struggle, there's no question about it. Finally, we have the encounter with Esau, and Esau turns round to Yaakov and says to him, look, what did you intend with all these gifts that you sent to me? And Yaakov responds, I wanted to try and find favor in your eyes so that you won't do battle with me. And what happens? We are told Esau's response is, look, Vayomer Esau says, Yeshli Rav, I have plenty, I have loads, you don't need to give me. What is this going to do? I have plenty. It's interesting to contrast this with what Yaakov says elsewhere. Yaakov says, Yeshli Kol, I have everything. And there's a notable difference. And the difference between Esau and Yaakov is, Esau always wants more. However much he has is not enough. I have plenty means there is room for more, but I don't have everything. Yaakov is someach b'chelko, he's happy with his lot. He says, Yeshli Kol, I have everything that I need. I am blessed with everything that I need. I don't need any more. Thank you very much. And this expresses the idea, Ezehu Osher, who is truly a rich person, hasomeach b'chelko, somebody who is happy with his lot. He feels that what I have is what Hashem wants me to have, and that is great. Of course, there are occasions where we daven to Hashem, we feel that we need more, but certainly what Yaakov was expressing here, this concept, when he did have plenty, actually I have it all, I've been blessed with all. Esau still feels he needs a little bit more. It's a trait of Esau to always want more. You have 100, want 200. We should be satisfied with what we have as long as we can live within those means.